All right, welcome back, everyone. Today, we're just going to revisit what we have done with the visuals that we have on Power BI and see how we can bring them together to form something meaningful, probably a dashboard that users can actually read meaning to, and of course, tell a story. Okay, so just to do a quick recap, from the start of the visual, we've been able to make use of this card, which allows us to be able to use one or more measure on it, right? And the card here is the card here is the card visual, allows us to be able to. This is where we've been able to use just drop one measure on it, and also we can have multiple measure on it, and it allows us to be able to customize the measures independently. And of course, we have this chart, which is called the bar chart and the column chart. And we also talked about all the different versions of the um, of the column or bar chart, talking about how we can make use of them from the first card that we have here, from the first bar chart that we have on my left side to where we have the stack column chart on my right hand side. Okay, and of course, we talked about line charts, we talked about donut charts, gauge, and map. All right, so today we're going to see how we can actually come about, bringing all these visuals together on a single page, and you know, more or less like come up with something we call a dashboard. All right, so this is what my landing page looks like. Right. So this is what every landing page would look like on Power BI. And of course, it comes with its own default properties, meaning that if I click on this visualization, because there is no visual on it, and I click on this property, format your report page. You see, format your report page, meaning it allows us to be able to adjust some settings that we have on this report page. So what are the things that we can actually format or make modification of? We can click on this page information and name of the page. You could actually customize the name of the page. Let's call this training dashboard. All right, set as landing page. Yes, because sometimes we can have reports seated on multiple pages, right? Like some of us, if we were so used to Power BI design, you will see that most times Power BI dashboard could have more than one page. All right, so this allows us to set, the page, the current page we're looking at as the landing page, meaning the first page that will be given priority. Allow use a tooltip. Yes, if you set this to be checked, that means a tooltip can actually be allowed on this particular page. All right, so let's set this as a landing page. Canvas settings. Settings is where we select the type of so canvas setting is where we get to select the type of the canvas, more like the width and the height. As you can see, the 16:9 is the horizontal against the vertical, which is width against the height. And we could also switch to this 4:3. You can see that as we adjust the value, is actually changing the width and the height of the page, as you can see. Okay, if we change it to letter, letter looks like this, and tooltip is also looking like this. Um, Most times I like to do custom. Let me just change it back to 69, and okay, so 69 looks like this. So 69 is having the width of 1280720. Um, let's see, 443. 960, 720. Okay, let's say 69, 1280, 720. Okay, let's say I like the 69, but I want to increase the height. So 1280, custom 1280. Probably I want the width to be a little bit more than what we currently have here. Let's say 14. Okay, so you can see that the width has been expanded, and the height, let's say the height should be 780. Okay, let's say the height should be 780. I can work with this. Vertical alignment, the top, we all know what that means. So canvas background, sometimes some people, you can adjust the background color. Okay, so adjusting the background color, sometimes some people would want to put a background image. Some people would want to put a background image. Um, okay, so this is where you begin to customize what we have. So I've dropped the background image. Yes, you can't see anything yet. Image fit, yes, fits, and transparency. Let me just change this transparency. Okay, now I've changed the transparency. The transparency was at 100 before, we couldn't see anything. Now changing it to this, at least we're able to see some of the background image that was set. Okay, so let me see the image feed. Should I stretch? Okay, or should I fill? Okay, I just picked one image, right? It could be like an image that you know. So setting the background image for the page, we have something that looks like this, and of course, meaning that you can now start dropping your visual on it. But I'm just showing you what is possible, right? I'm just showing what's possible. Now you would see that initially when this transparency is at 100, you can hardly tell what has been modified as regarding the canvas background. All right, although I've changed the color to this gray, but then you're still seeing something that looks like a white until you turn this transparency to a little bit lesser. Then you begin to see whatever changes that you've made for the background. Okay, so let's work with something like this. So far we have adjusted the width and the height. We have adjusted the canvas background. We just saw how we can use an image background in case you have an image that you want to use for the background, which is okay. All right, so quickly we would just start from the basic. We'll do something very simple. Um, because we already have some of our cards, here. I don't want to, um, reinvent the wheel, because another thing that I want to call your attention to is because we set this page to be the landing page. You can see something that looks like an home icon before the name of the page, right? You'll see something that looks like an home icon before the page. All right, so quickly, this is what our page looks like. Just like any report, the standard information that is important to have is you want to have the title of the dashboard. You want to have probably like a navigation site where you can actually navigate through pages, and you also want to have maybe label, title, navigation page, maybe a footer if it's necessary. All right, so quickly, I wouldn't want us to blink here. This is crucial. All right, so before now, I really do not have any design in mind, but like I mentioned, we're going to make it so simple, no stress, and let us see how we can, move on from there. All right, so quickly, I'm going to be dropping some visual. I'm going to be dropping some visual, right? And the first I'd like to, so clicking on the page, you can see I have my tool, visual tool that I can actually drop here. All right, so quickly, let me just drop this card. Let's drop this card. It's something that we are familiar with. We know what it can do, and we know what we can achieve with that, right? So let me drop this card here. So what the page would have, it would have things that we call filter section. It's going to have a filter section. It's going to have, okay, before I even drop a card, quickly let us insert shape. Let us insert a shape, please. Let's drop a shape like this. So this shape is where we would have more like our title. This shape would have the title, and of course, just like every other item that we have on Power BI, we can actually adjust its property by clicking on it, and you see where we can adjust the property. Okay, so this title will be seated here. Probably we could come up with an icon, yeah, more like a logo. Company logo could also be here. Title can be here. Label and other information will be here. Another thing that we can bring in here is the navigation bar, right? The navigation bar mostly sits on the side of the page. The navigation bar mostly sits on this side of the page. With the navigation bar, we can have, we could actually have probably filters. No, maybe I shouldn't drop our filter. Let's drop the navigation bar here, or maybe just filter. Since it's just a one page, let us drop our filter here. No navigation bar. But ideally, if our report is more than one page, like multiple pages, yeah, so you would need a navigation bar, and of course, um, we can drop our filter in the alternate position. So if our navigation bar is, you know, um, what is a navigation bar? Navigation bar literally means it's more like a label that you see on the on a page, probably a website or a Power BI report, as our case is, that allows us to be able to jump from one page to another, or from one page to another using a link. All right, so since we are just going to be working with just one page, I would just want to keep to this filter. Our filter is going to be here. Now this area is going to be our work area. This area is going to be our work area. Our work area probably means where our dashboard will be seated, where our visuals will be seated. Visuals like any of this form, any of these clicking here, any of these visuals here, where it can be seated comfortably. All right, so if you ask me what color scheme do I want to work with, let's see some color scheme that we can work with, please. Color band makes for design. All right, let's see. Since we are designing this report or this layout together, so what we are basically doing now is we're just strategizing on how the layout is going to be, right? So how the layout is going to be, and you know, there are some colors that you can actually mix with one another that would look appealing to the eyes, right? Okay, so these are some of the color mix together with their code. All right, not bad, right? Okay, so let's see this. Maybe we could work with yeah, we can work with this for, it's fine. Let's just keep to this for. So the blue, Let's see. Let's go back to our layout. Hmm. Okay, so I want to keep blue to be 4285 F4. X is 4285 F4. That's the blue version. 4285 F4. All right, so let me click on this. Let me just type color. Anywhere you see blue, the fill, the border. All right, so more colors. 428, 4285 F4. Okay, so that's the blue we're talking about. All right, so I'm gonna press enter, and that's my blue. Okay, so the border is also going to be that. 4285 F4. Okay, so I have this. More colors. 4285 F4. 4285 F4. Okay. Let me just copy this so I do not keep typing them over and over again. Okay, so looks like what I've been. So quickly, do I have like something that I want to bring in? Let me bring in the insert image. So we are doing the design and layout together. This is the image, right? So I just inserted an image, right? So this is what the image is. I'm probably looking for where I can bring in my image, more like a logo. So I click on the image and come to this image side, and upload image is what I'm currently going to be looking at as the image source, and I'm going to click on this to add the file. Okay, click that. Do I have a logo somewhere? Okay, let's say I do not have a logo. Well, I can, let's work with this. Let's work with this. Oops. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's fine. I can work with this. All right, I can work with this. How are we? So, the title. What should we call the title now? What's sales? What do we call internet sales dashboard? Let's call it internet sales dashboard. So what will I do? I'm going to bring in a label. I'm going to bring in a label. Insert is fine. So yeah, label or text box. So this is too wide for me, so I'm going to call it internet sales dashboard. Internet sales dashboard. Okay, internet sales dashboard. So I'm going to select the text, increase the font size to something bigger than this. Okay, 28. Sego UI is good. Maybe a little bit more. 30. So do this. Now the color. What color should I pick for this? Let us go back to our color mix. I believe red, this red will sit well, right? This red will sit well. EA4335. EA4335. So let's select text. I'm going to bold this and color, font color. Okay, font color. Let's click on this drop down and E8, forgotten that, EA4335. EA4335. Okay, so this is the red we're looking for. What's going on? Ctrl Z. It's fine. I think we'll have to retype that again. Internet sales dashboard. Honestly, I don't know where that went. Bold. This. Font color. I think it's EA435. EA435. Okay. Looks more like it. All right, so we have it. What I will do is I will drag this up and bring this here. Now, quickly, I want to select what I have here, and I'm going to format text box. I'll click on the effects, go to the transparency, and click on this. Cool. All right, so I have this. I think I can drag this a little bit down. Nope. Maybe a little bit down. Yep. No. It looks. I think the blue and the red are kind of fighting. Maybe I should use yellow. FBBC05. Let me use FBBC05. FBBC. Okay, let's see this. Why does this guy keep deleting? Okay, I don't know. Let me see. FBB C5. Okay, well, not bad. I think, well, for me, not bad. There's something I can do to this icon, but to this logo. Let me just take it out. I don't like the way that looks there. I don't like the way that looks there. I need to, like, this redesign it so that it can fit in here. All right, so filters. Could actually drop a logo here. I don't know. So let us quickly do something where we drop. Let me drop another shape and do this. Okay. This is big, we know. Maybe I should just put some gap in between. Okay, so I have something like this. And do I want to change the color? Maybe I can change the color to green. 34A853. 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 So I'm going to click on the property. So I've clicked on this. Color. Let me just select color. Fill color. I'm looking for the fill color. More colors. I'm looking for 34A853. 34 is A853. Okay. Okay, I'm looking for this. And well, don't mind me. I'm in a rush. It's not that I've thought through this layout before. I'm just trying to, see what I can get from it. And what we can do is let's drop this card. This is our beautiful, useful card. Let's drop this card. I'm not sure you blinked. Let's just hope you did not blink.